The man who defined the power forward position in the 1950s and early 60s, Bob Pettit was the first player to score 20,000 career points. A record four-time All-Star Game MVP, Pettit led the Hawks to the only title in franchise history.
My rookie year, I just remember I watched him in awe at some of the things he would do on the court. He probably was the first stretch four in basketball because he could shoot the ball from the outside and score inside. But what made him so effective was he was a fierce competitor, and he rebounded the ball, and he gave up so much on the court that he made other players better. But you could always rely on him to come through in the clutch when you needed to.
What was so great about him, and I didn't begin to appreciate it until he had retired. When I look back and I thought about him, and I said, this man was a perfect kind of player. He knew what he could do. He only did what he could do. He was very focused on his game. His game was rebounding, pass the ball to a guard, get up court and get in position to take advantage of people and score in the pivot or facing the basket, etc. He knew that he was not a great dribbler. He knew that he was not truly an outstanding ball handler. But what was so great about him that made him really stand out, he didn't try those things. He only did the things that he could do well, which created lots of problems for anyone playing against him.
Used to call him Big Blue. Bob Pettit was, I would say, was one of the smartest forwards and one of the greatest forwards in the history of the game of basketball.
Selby's jump shot rims the basket, but Pettit rebounds beautifully.
And you know what he did? Every year, he averaged over 20 points a game and 17 rebounds a game, which is unheard of today.
Bob Pettit, the thing I learned from him was that this guy came ready to play every night. He never made excuses for himself, you know. He came to play, and I knew that if I got him the ball in certain areas, he was going to be very effective.
Probably as fierce a competitor as ever played. Knew what he was doing. As great as he was always better under pressure. He was a great player all the time, but under pressure. In '58, when they won the championship.
The St. Louis Hawks have made their mark in basketball history with their first and only NBA championship.
I think he got 19 of their last 21 points in a two-point ball game. Now that's pretty good.
Bob Pettit is the primary reason that the city of St. Louis, Missouri has an NBA championship when the Hawks won it in 1958. In terms of what he was as a player, what did he mean to the NBA?
Well, when he came out of college, he was a center, but when he came to the NBA, he was a little light. And they said, hey, how about playing this new position called power forward? And suddenly, he had to go from playing back to the basket to facing the basket. And it was the best thing that could happen to him because he became a double-double machine. He never finished lower than 7th in scoring in any single season in the NBA, and never averaged less than 10 rebounds in the NBA. He basically invented the position, and I think it really had a big impact on him as a player and also St. Louis as a basketball team.
Yeah, the Hawks as a franchise, of course. In terms of power forwards, historically, it's hard to compare different eras, but where does he stack up against some of the power forwards historically?
Well, because he was such a machine, rebounds, scoring, he has to be really right there at the top. When he retired, he was the NBA's all-time leading scorer. That says a lot for that position because usually at that position, they didn't shoot the ball much, but he was so consistent, not only shooting the ball from the outside, but getting to the rim, getting rebounds. You got to put him in the top 5, top 6 in terms of the context of power forward. You know, that position has sort of evolved a little bit, but the way he played it was classic.
He was in the league 11 years, an all-star each of those 11 seasons.
In today's basketball, the young player starts, you know, I watch my grandchildren. They start playing at 4 and 5 years old. And they have coaching. And it's absolutely amazing by the time there's some of them that are really good ones out of finish high school, they're able to go into the NBA. Not a great number, but certainly more than, and in my day, we had nothing. I never played basketball until I was till like a junior in high school. I had no coaching, I had no summer leagues. all I learned was my parents put up a backboard in the backyard and with a hoop, and I practiced at night with a lamp in the window in my back bedroom, shooting baskets hour after hour. I just learned trial and error, repeated and repeated and repeated, and finally I learned something. So I was able to play pretty well in high school and went on to LSU, and did well at LSU, and then went on into the NBA.